Before I get into it, let me define democracy in regards to my spiel, to rid any semantic misconceptions. First, what is what we in America consider to be democracy? The form of democracy that was originally intended here in America is a sort of combination of representative and constitutional democracy. Though I think any politically versed person or literal non-idiot would tell you pretty quickly that this has deteriorated quite severely due to its inherent flaws, and these errors have been asserting themselves more over each decade, it seems. This is fully shown through the criticisms that democracy has long held, like the popular vote being an illusion, mob rule, elitism, and also the purchasing of votes through lobbyists and special interest groups. With these erroneous functions running our American democracy, how can one have faith in the definition of democracy being accurately delivered? As the Democrat Mike Gravel would say, power to the people. Democracy, in and of itself, is just that, self-rule through voting. In America, we have the representatives to make this vote on the issue that the general populace they represent do not care or want to keep a vigil over. And to safeguard the individual, there is the Constitution, limiting that which can be done by their representatives and government as a whole. The problem in this, in my opinion, is the relinquishing of sovereignty to the representative, and also the lack of attention paid to these issues due to the idea of another taking a diligent watch in the voter's stead. Penultimately, the idea that there can be a document, changing as though the Constitution may be, that will protect and suppress the powers of the government does more to breed laziness than it does to safeguard the citizen, not to mention the circular problem of who makes these amendments and what safeguards us from them for the years that they have our arms as this Leviathan. And let's not even mention that should you be in the 49% group, you get the shaft anyway, and that's not freedom any way you spin it. So why do Americans think democracy works? Between the historical representation of sociological advancements of this orthodox democracy being taught in the state education camps and the high standard of living achieved by said advancements, there is grounds in the closed American mind for this democratic illusion being the end-all be-all form of attaining freedom, and with this illusory ideology can be seen the reason backing the will to inflict this faux freedom governing institution upon the world. When I was serving my country, or my country's interests, both here and overseas, I had the heart to help those who were oppressed. De oppresso liber was our motto, and I, for one, took this very seriously. And when in conversation with some of the more senior veteran leadership, I would say something in regards to wanting and enjoying being part of the freeing of the people that were oppressed. And I was disheartened to hear their jaded cynicism in responding with, haha, you mean Operation World Domination? And when I asked in more detail, the answer was something like, democracy and capitalism is how we control them, through changing their hearts and minds. Because I was more naive then than I am now, my understanding of this was not complete. Not to mention, I was starting to show myself as a dissenter, and as I'm sure you can guess, this is frowned upon in the armed forces. Now let me stop here and say that I don't hate the military. I do hate the hand that guides it. You don't hate the sword that strikes you, but instead strive to defend the man defeat the man wielding it. Some of my best experiences and largest leaps of personal growth came from those years, but also some of my deepest regrets. But moving on, why don't Afghans want democracy? There is a litany of reasons, I'm sure, but the one that I will be citing is from personal perspective and also a bit of projection. They have a subconscious understanding that emergent law is the only form that doesn't come with coercive corruption, even at the sacrifice of lower living standards. I won't really go into why the economic third world situation comes with it, other than to say, even if they don't exploit themselves, other rich countries, America and Russia, will do so. Now I understand that Afghans are notorious for the exploitation of women especially, and so I'm not trying to say that they don't exploit each other, it's just that they are picking the lesser of two evils. But again, this is not really my point. As I saw it while I was over there, they want to have control over themselves and refuse anything but. In this, I admire those freedom fighters for that, even if they do engage in atrocious acts against each other. They have been defending themselves for longer than most of the people watching this video have been alive, including me. What fortitude! Even if it is in the face of annihilation, they are truly committed to our American slogan, live free or die. I would never want to see America in the same destitute that is Afghanistan, but I do think there is a lesson to be learned here. But that is for you to gain, and not for me to give. Thanks again.